I suppose by now all farmers are after getting a letter from the Department of Agriculture to record all fertiliser stored on farm from the 1st of September. So I suppose what we just want to show here is how we can show proof of placement in your field, on your farm, and we can then sync that back to your computer. On the computer we can store our fertilisers, we can show the bank of what fertiliser is stored on farm, and as the fertiliser is spread per field, that then comes off your total quantity that you have already put on there. So what we'll do here is we're just going to spread this field of fertiliser. We're going to show the coverage map afterwards in the application map. It'll tell us what fertiliser we spread, what date we spread it on, what time we spread it. We can put in costings if we want to as well, and that will then subtract off our total balance of fertiliser that we've already inputted into the farm software. So yeah, we'll jump up in the tractor and fertiliser spreader now. We'll get this field spread. We're spreading some rate of potash there today, spreading with 65 kgs a hectare. So we'll get out here and we'll get that spread, and we'll go back then and look at the computer afterwards.
Tune in, break away, forget our fear of what comes after. Hold on for better days, let our past begin to shatter. Days like these, we can see the way to live out a new chapter. Tides come our way.
When we have this field spread here, we'll be able to sync this record back across to the software, and we'll be able to view it then and see the field and see the coverage map. There's a lot of benefits of using the Trimble Ag software now when you've already got, say, this is a new GFX, this is a GFX 750 display, but with our Trimble GFX display they've got the auto sync function, so that basically means we can auto sync the data from the displays back across to the office or to the software, to your phone or to your computer as you're working. So let's say we'll spread this field now, and when we've this field finished, the date, the time, the type of fertiliser will all be synced back to my mobile and then the computer, which is a great way of keeping all your records and viewing them to look back on over the years. So you can do the same with slurry spraying, all the rest of them, but it's a good way of keeping a record, finding your fields, and even if you have someone else driving for you, just showing them where the fields are. So because it's an isobus spreader, we're using the UT function. So I've actually got my GPS for my spreader here with my AB lines now to follow, but I've also got my spreader controls on this one. So here we've got my spreader. We can put in how full it is. It's an Amazon spreader, but this would be no different to any other isobus spreader, be it Roush, Bogbell. The isobus spreader your isobus implement will come in here. It's the same as doing any other field work with an isobus implement. You can have your isobus implement displayed here, you can have your field work here, and then your sections for your section control across the bottom here. You can see our target rate is 62 kgs a hectare. As we start spreading, we'll see what our actual rate is. So what we've done there is we've gone out and spread 4 fields. We spread grassland rate of potage. So when we went in spreading the field, we had our vehicle selected, our implement selected, which is our Amazon isobus spreader. We had our material selected, which is grassland rate of potash. It's good to have the correct material in here and the correct rate, because this will then carry through to the farm software, to your record. We've got our task set in at spreading, and we spread fields 11, 12, 13 and 3. So when we then log into our mobile app or desktop, we've got similar menus. We can then click on equipment activity, and it's after syncing now from the screen through here. We've got a list of the fields we did spread 11, 12, 13 and 3. If we go, for example, into field 11 there, we can actually see how many hectares we spread. We can see an application map of where we spread. We can see a costing, total time, which vehicle spread it, which implement. We can again see which material was spread in there. So this record will be this record will be here for us for these fields forevermore. We also can do the same. We can go on equipment activity here on our desktop, and on our desktop we will have the same records in here. We'll have our fields. We can go into field 11. Again, we can filter this. We can check to see what speed was driven at in that field. To change the cover map, we can get the actual applied rate. We can again see the total hectares. All these inputs can be edited as well. We can actually put in here, we can put in a cost on the tractor, a cost on the spreader. We put a cost against the fertilizer, and then that'll all come true. So what we can do is click on all these tasks and we verify that they're correct. So that task now has been verified. So now, for example, if we go to field 11 and we go into our farm map, if we go in here to field 11, click on field 11, we can actually see the activities for this field, and we can see now on this field, on this date, this size, and we can see that it was spread. Similarly, we can see the same for if it was a slurry record, a spraying record. So we can look at our records per field. So we've also got the inputs and materials menu. This is very important now, because this is where we can have a place to store all our fertilizer records for what's on farm. So when we click in here to inputs and materials, we can go across to fertilizers. Now we've got a list here of all fertilizers that are being used on this farm. Now what we can do is we can put in the quantity purchased. We can put an average cost on that quantity when it was bought. That'll give us a total cost of what's on farm. Then as we start spreading, when we go to an area and an average rate, we'll have quantity used and it'll give us our balance. So we can see what balance of fertilizer for each type we will have on farm at any time. Anyone interested in talking about fertilizer records, proof of placement, anything like that, just get in touch with us. We can set up demos on our Farmer Core software. We can do 14-day demos, we can do 3-month demos. If someone's looking for a demo now before the end of the season to get some fertilizer records through, get the last few slurry records on to be prepared for the spring, just get in touch. This is a GFX 750, similar to our 1060, but our smaller 7-inch display, a GFX 350. We've got good options there for a 350 light, which is a very reasonable GPS to get into. They can all do this auto sync function, so just get in touch and we can point you in the right direction to getting your fertilizer records in place for storing that fertilizer on farm.